welcome back everybody to another Smooth Ramblings. This is HolliwoodKole, the H in the H&K video game experience. K being Clearfire, of course, who has his fireside chats. But H&K video game experience is our primary video game forum here that we talk about video games. Not today, though. Today it's going to be just a Smooth Ramblings. But the H&K, next time we got a real good one for you coming out. It's GoldenEye that we're going to do with Coach RX, fan favorite there. Looking forward to that one. That's going to be a lot of fun, a lot of good memories with that game. Hopefully going to lay that one down in the next couple of days, get it out to you within the next week. But today, we're going to talk about a PS4 classic, which I think is a classic, Until Dawn. The reason I think it's a classic is because when this game came out, it kind of flew under the radar a little bit, but everybody seemed to, you kind of saw it everywhere. It didn't really build up for it. I mean, it flew under the radar. There wasn't a lot of build up for it. I didn't see a lot of advertisements for it. But once it came out, I kept hearing about it. And then it came out on PSN for free. And that's when I picked it up. So, played it. And today, we have on the show, first-time guest, Maiden Kane. And so she played it with me. What's going on, Maiden Kane?
Not much. How's it going?
It's going well. So interesting thing about Maiden Kane is that she is actually not a gamer.
No.
So this is one of the first ones you've played on PS4, or is the first one you played on PS4. But you have some sort of history with games at least. You played when you were younger, played Mario or anything like that.
Right. Yeah, I got for Christmas when I was real young, Super Mario Brothers, and it came with the Power Pad, where you could run on that and you could do hurdles and various.
That was a regular Nintendo, right?
Yeah, that was regular Nintendo, but the Power Pad you could attach to it and play. But my all-time favorite used to be Ms. Pac-Man. Yeah. That I play with my dad on the.
Probably Nintendo too, right?
No, that was what do you call it? Texas Instruments that he hooked up to a TV.
Oh my gosh!
I know, that was super old.
That's not really a game console that we're familiar with here on Smooth Ramblings. Texas Instruments is more of a calculator that we used in like 8th grade or so.
It's very old.
But he was an engineer, so he had all kind of cool stuff, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Somebody programmed it on a Texas Instrument, probably Mrs. Pac-Man. Did it look like the arcade?
Yeah, it did. It did look like the arcade, so that... And Hunt the Wampus was on it as well. And some
Wampus cat.
Yeah, it was fun to play that with my dad.
That's cool. Yeah, I'm not familiar with Texas Instruments. But anyway, so you played on... so this is a fresh perspective on... from a non-gamer on the PS4 horror games. And you've always been a horror fan. We did play... we've played Mario on the Wii U. And you were able to kind of hang with us, me, you, Jacob, my son, and... kind of play like the 3 players, Mario Party, stuff like that. So you know how the mechanics of it work really well.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah, it's fun. It's a good time. I enjoy it.
So
some light gaming every now and again.
Yeah. But do you play games on your phone? I'm just curious because they say females actually are more gamers than males. But it's usually for phone games.
The only one I used to do was Bejeweled. I really haven't gotten into gaming too much on the phone. But
you enjoyed Until Dawn?
Yes, I did at first. I did not like it because I thought it was geared for 16-year-olds too much. It was very like teeny bopper-ish.
Yeah.
But so I wasn't really that into it. And I said, I'm just waiting until this gets good. But then the longer we played it, the more I got into it. And I ended up really liking it. And I definitely think it's a good game to play. Like you said, instead of watching a movie... This is an interactive movie where you make choices and that decides the fate of all the characters. So I really loved it. And
just a disclaimer for everybody out there, if you've listened to H&K Video Game Experience for any time, you know that we are clean. We're a clean podcast. We don't cuss. We avoid toilet humor, blah, blah, blah. This one, however, we're still going to do those things, but on the YouTube version, we do have everything coming out on YouTube now. So we'll have some gameplay behind it. And it is based on a horror movie. So there is going to be some gore. You'll have a warning at the beginning of the YouTube. But there is going to be some gore, blood, murderous, stuff like that, gruesome stuff on the playthrough. So if you
have... Lots of cursing, which I don't...
Well, I'm going to take the sound out. But there is going to be there's going to be some closed caption so people can see what's going on and get the feel for the scene. So if they can read, it's going to be cursing in there, stuff like that. So that's a disclaimer up front. If you don't want that to be read or seen by someone, please turn it off now. But it's an interactive horror movie, as Maiden Kane was saying. So you're really into like horror games. We were going to play We Happy Few, and I think we're going to play that next. But it was $60 still, and I'm kind of waiting. I don't really know a whole lot about it. I just kind of heard the premise, which sounded really kind of freaky. So that would be really, really good to play. But I realized that I had Until Dawn for free, and I heard about it, like I said at the beginning. So we tried that one, told you what it's about, and you liked it. So we experienced it for the first time together, and I'd never played it before. And it's one of those games to where it is, like I said, interactive in the sense of you make choices, and the choices that you make depict the outcome of the story. And there's quick time events in the game, and there's choices you make. Like as I said, it's always one of two choices, and it just lays the story out for you. And the whole premise of the thing is that you're, I think it was 2000, and the dates might be wrong, but something like 2014 or 15. I think the game takes place in 2016.
I thought it was 2015. No, does it?
Okay.
I don't know. It came out in 2015.
Okay. It's somewhere right around there, 2015, 2000 teens. And so Josh is a rich family, has two sisters, Beth and Hannah, and they always go out there for this is either the first time they went out there to do this like get together. They're all like 18 or 19, the kids. There's like 7 of them, and 7 or 8 of them. They're all just partying it up out there, and then they play a trick on Hannah, causes her to she has a crush on one of the characters, Mike, and they go in there.
Give spoiler alerts?
Oh yeah, that's a good call. Yeah, so this is going to spoil. You will see stuff and outcomes of decisions being made. So yeah, there's definitely spoilers here. So if you've not played the game and you want to know the story on your own, you need to go do that and not listen to this. But if you played it, you'll enjoy this. Good call. And so yeah, so this all happens at the beginning, but she has a crush on Mike. She comes in there, tries to get a little frisky or whatever. She gets called out by all the people. Some dude even jumps out of the closet with a selfie stick to try to take a picture. I mean, it's really dumb prank.
Matt does that.
Yeah, and it's like she freaks out, runs out. Beth, her sister, goes after her. They get lost in the wood and they disappear. All right, seemingly murdered. They don't find their bodies or anything. I don't understand why they did the prank like this at first, because I mean, I know it's supposed to be something for to make Hannah, the sisters, leave. But why didn't they just do I don't know. I'm just kind of thinking out loud here. Like they did a fake murder or some kind of somebody's out to get us, and then make her run out that way because she's scared that she's going to die or something like that. I guess it would be too elaborate as an intro scene.
I don't know. The more I think about it, though, that was very cruel because she had a crush on Mike, and then she thought she was going to make out with him, and then to find out that Jess and who else? Ashley were under the bed, and then Matt and somebody else were in the closet. I mean, that was very cruel. So I think I could understand from her point of view that they were being mean to her, and that's why she ran out. So I guess in hindsight, it was enough of a prank to get her to leave the house and run out.
Yeah. So it affected her bad. I guess she's 18, so it's a big deal to her. And she runs out. They're out there. They find her. There's this guy shooting a flamethrower. You don't know who this guy is or whatever. It reaches down to grab her, and you make the first choice of the game. Well, you don't make that's not the first choice because you have the choice once they run out or they find out somebody's out there. Josh is actually passed out, and you're Beth, and you're trying to wake Josh up. Josh, come. You can make that choice to try to wake him up. He doesn't move. And I'll go ahead and say there's some choices here that there are no difference which one you make. In fact, there was a video I was watching from Kevin, this guy named Kevin, and he makes all the wrong choices, which I guess there's not a wrong choice, but he doesn't do any of the quick time events and stuff like that. And nothing really, I guess it does, a few things change. We'll get into it, but sometimes it doesn't matter. Mm-hmm. So, but it is affecting your relationships with them and stuff like that, I guess. And so, I shouldn't say it doesn't matter. I'm not 100% sure on that, but at least the videos that persist through that are all the same. So pretty much.
But then I saw something where they said that Hannah had been alive and she ate Beth, and that's why she turned into the Wendigo.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter if you let go.
Either way.
So what happens is if you get a chance to let go of so they fall off a cliff. Beth is the only one hanging on, and the other hand is holding Hannah. So you get a choice to let go of Hannah and grab for help from the bad guy, whoever the killer you think it is, or let go yourself and you both fall. Well, if you let go yourself, you both fall and you both die. This is one of those choices that I was talking about. If you do let go of Hannah and try to reach for the killer, Hannah falls, you reach up, the stick falls, and you fall anyway. So you really don't have a choice. You both are going to fall. You just chose which animation to see. But yeah, Beth dies and Hannah lives, but you don't know this at the time. So we'll get to that here soon.
Something worth noting is the graphics are incredible. They're beautiful. The voice actors are all, like Hayden Panettiere is in there. Josh is, I forget the guy's name, but he's somebody famous.
It's Rami Malek.
I think I saw somewhere that he's in Night at the Museum. What is that? Night at the Museum, and he's some kind of prince of Egypt or something. He's
from Egypt in real life.
Is he? But he plays in that movie.
Yeah, he is a Night in the Museum, both of them.
Yeah. But it's really cool. The graphics are amazing. I love them.
So you were real impressed with the graphics at first because, like you said, we were saying you hadn't played any of the games.
Yeah, I'm used to Super Mario Brothers from 1990.
Yeah, it's just all pixelized
But yeah, that was incredible, and I mean, I loved the clothes on the girls. I mean, everything was so realistic.
It's like a movie.
Yeah, it was exactly like a movie. I mean, the movements of the characters were kind of mechanical, but... So
I was watching a video and the people were like, the graphics were good, but not great. And to me, I'm kind of like you. I'm kind of like, man, they're pretty good. But see, PlayStation 4 came out in like 2013, I think. So this was in the, what happens with consoles is that when it first comes out, the games look a little bit more basic compared to later on, because everybody kind of learns the power of the console and blah, blah, blah. So this game was made toward the end of PlayStation 4's life cycle. It's reasonable to believe that the graphics would have been even better. But, I mean, it's just motion capture and stuff like that for the actors. But when you see Hayden Panettiere and Rami Malek, in the thing, they're two main characters. So they play a big role. So anyway, let's just go ahead with the story a little bit here. And we don't have to go through the whole story because it's going to change for everybody anyway.
Right.
But Josh invites everybody back to the cabin. Hey, guys, this is going to help me. Where my two sisters died, if we all come back and relive the exact same thing, somehow that's going to help me get over it, as opposed to make me sadder. And so that's what he wants to do. So it starts off with Hayden Panettiere's her character is Samantha, is driving out on a bus to get there. She's looking at a YouTube video, and apparently Josh has a YouTube channel. I didn't realize this. I guess we missed this because he goes, "Hello, friends and fans." That's what he's talking about. He has like 7 subscribers on the thing.
Oh, is that what it says? Yeah.
Yeah, and so it's just kind of funny that he's a YouTuber, and it makes sense later on. But while he's trying to get more subscribers,
yeah,
it's only got 7, and all 7 of them are going to the cabin probably. And so they all show up, and just getting there is
it's snowy.
It's snowy. It's a mountain, and they're
somewhere in Canada.
And there's like what is it called? One of those cars that take you up a cable car that's just rickety, not even owned, I don't think. I mean, it's all this kind of craziness. You got to get up there, and you're finally at the cabin in the middle of nowhere, and the lights are off, the boiler's off. Josh, I thought he took the welcome video from the cabin, but he has everything off. There's no electricity. He doesn't even have the thing unlocked, the cabin unlocked, because they got to go around, remember, in the back, the basement and all this. And it's just like, dude, but it's just horror movie, it's just kind of like, okay, this is a cliche thing. And of course, like, you hear like, out of the blue, a jump scare, and then it's just like somebody closing a cabinet or something, it's one of those type of stuff. That's not scary. Why did I jump?
Right.
And a moose that jumps out from the woods makes a sound. Like the moose doesn't make that sound, but
those were
in Canada,
lame.
Canadian moose may. But that's like that. But you have this. This is one of those things too. Okay, I gotta say this. This is kind of weird. I realize this. Well, I'll explain this. You'll understand this more once we're done. So I won't jump right into this. At one point at the beginning, what's his name? Nate? Is Nate one?
Wait, no. Who are you trying to talk? There's Matt, Mike, Josh, Chris. Chris is the nerdyish, stereotypical.
Yeah, they're all stereotypes.
Right.
It shows Samantha feeding a squirrel to try to introduce the do not move the controller mechanic of the game. So all you have to do is just not move the controller, and this is for hiding. You know what they're going to try to do later. Okay, something's going to be chasing me, and I got to do not move because I'm hiding. So they try to introduce it. If you move it, the squirrel runs off and comes back, and it'll never stop until you can keep the controller still, and she can feed the squirrel. All right, I didn't even really think about that. I thought I was like, okay, he's just introducing the mechanic. And then later on, Chris is showing off his sharpshooting skills at targets with this gun. And this little squirrel jumps up because Samantha, he's showing out in front of Samantha. Samantha's the one that just fed the squirrel. Mm-hmm. And she makes some kind of quip about his shooting skills. And then a squirrel jumps up. And of course, you got a choice now to shoot the squirrel or shoot the target. And of course, I shot the squirrel. And then she's all mad. Oh, you little punk and blah, blah, blah. Why'd you do that? And so now nature in the game will attack you all the time. Yeah. And I don't know what happens if you don't shoot the squirrel. I haven't even seen the videos if you don't shoot it.
Yeah, I think I read about that, but I don't remember if you don't.
So anyway, that was one of those. And so I'll talk about, just remember that because I'm going to talk about something later about that. But anyway, and I don't remember every little detail of the story, but they eventually get to the cabin. Weird things are happening, stuff's jumping out, no psychos or anything, but one of the other first jump scares is when they have a mechanic to where Josh pushes Chris into the basement, gives him like a torch or something, a lighter, and just says, hey, go, the lock's frozen on the front door, so what do I need to do? He says, oh, go get my aftershave and spray the light it and spray across. It's not aftershave, but whatever kind of thing it is. You're making me crazy when you're holding this mic like that.
Why?
I can't concentrate.
My back was hurting. Am I not allowed to hold it like that?
I don't know. This might change the way it sounds.
Okay, because my back hurt.
So anyway, So he has to go get some hairspray or something and spray it across his flame to melt the ice off the handle of the door. So, I mean, it's kind of elaborate right there just to try to work in some scares and kind of give you the layout of the cabin in the game. And it's as soon as he opens the drawer, and it's like, oh, push R2 to grab the spray. He reaches in, and a Wolverine jumps out. A baby Wolverine was just in there, happened to be in there. Jumps out.
I did scream at that one. That was the only one that made me scream in the whole game. And then after that, I was used to it.
And then then it runs out, and it runs out the door. And it's like, oh, what is that? Oh, it's just a Wolverine or something. And they just go about their business. Nobody says, somebody locked that thing in here for a whole year? Or how did he get in here?
Baby Wolverine in there.
Yes, nobody cares. Random. So at the beginning of the game, this kind of stuff is happening and nobody cares. At some point, Jessica and Mike have to go to the cabin, the guest cabin. Hey, y'all go spend some time in this guest cabin. The guest cabin is like 500 miles away. In the video I was watching, he was just like, where's this cabin? This is like a proper mountain climb to get to this cabin. Yeah. And it's just so funny. And so they're going to the cabin. Jessica gets ahead of him or something, and
is that a British commentary?
It was proper. Yeah. I love that. I said it makes perfect sense. It's the proper mountain climb. Yeah. And so, I can't even. It's just so many times this happened. He looks at this abandoned truck, and then the mask, like a random mask. I mean, literally, what I'm telling you, a mask.
Yeah, what
pops
even
up in the
was
window
that?
And goes, and he's like, "Whoa, how'd that get up there?" And they just ignore it.
And that had nothing to do with anything in the
exactly had nothing to do with anything.
Yeah, that was. I'm not into the jump scares; they're very corny.
And then another time, they're looking through a binoculars, and literally a Wendigo pops up, and they just go, "Oh," and they just keep going with their business.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of killing and all this, scares coming out. weird stuff. You don't know who it is. Samantha's in the bathtub. That's all she wanted to do. She has a towel on. Then a psycho killer, and literally looks straight out of Saw. This is like Friday the 13th meets Saw. And so he's like watching her. She's got her headphones on so he didn't see. He's got this weird looking mask on. Like the whole upper lip is like ripped off the mask. Weird hair. It's freaky looking. Of course, he's got overalls on with a tool belt. The killer has Ashley and Josh, and it's like it's straight out of the Psycho, or straight out of Saw, where there's a saw blade, and it's like, pick one. Who do you want to die?
Yeah, all this build up and all this weird stuff happening. It doesn't just happen. Stuff just gets creepy.
Yeah, and so you go in there, and it doesn't matter who you pick. This is another one. You want to save Ashley or Chris? And so Ashley and Josh. Chris has to make the decision. So I saved Ashley, and Josh got sawed in half. Well,
yeah, that's horrific because they're both tied to this saw.
Yeah, it's like a train track that leads up to each of their bodies that are hanging on this wall. And so you got to turn Ashley or Chris. Or I keep saying Chris, Josh or Ashley. Well, I'll turn it to Josh to kill Josh. And it turned the tracks and killed Josh. Well, that's kind of showing that Chris and Ashley are love interest of the horror movie and blah blah blah.
And I read if you do choose Ashley, it still kills Josh.
Yeah, it still goes to Josh because that's what my question was because of the big reveal later on. Well, what happens? And it all still kills Josh. But it's funny because the dialogue kind of changes. She's like, "Oh, thanks for saving me, Chris. I knew there was something." He's like, "Yeah, sure thing." He's like real standoffish about it because he really didn't try to save her.
Oh,
he still picked Ashley. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And just funny stuff like that. So our playthrough, we had Jess is still alive at this point. So her might go to that cabin and try to get, crazy. And then she gets ripped out of the house or the cabin and drug off. So Mike gives chase and goes after her and finds her in the mines, and she falls down and then falls down this mine shaft or something. And then he goes after her, and there's a Wendigo there. So you don't know what this Wendigo is. You don't know if this is the same guy or what, but you kind of like, there's got to be more than one guy because these things are happening, 500 miles. It's not 500 miles, but one's at the guest house and one's at the, main cabin. Jessica can actually be dead right here. You
don't know.
Yeah, you don't know, but I'm talking about even in the game, if you like grab the key instead of go back and help Jessica, or you show that she doesn't have, you don't have a love interest. She's either going to have clothes on at this point or just underwear on at this point in the game. If she still has clothes on, you hadn't shown enough love interest, and she's going to die.
Yeah, I read if you make the wrong decisions or irritate her, then she keeps the clothes on. But yeah, I guess you made the right decisions because you got her half naked.
Yeah, I made the right decisions. and then she's just to save her life. That's why I did it. And not to kill her. And so, but she dies in a horrific way, like her bottom jaw gets ripped off and stuff, and her tongue's still there. It's really disgusting.
Yeah, very horrific way. But your playthrough didn't do that. That's just...
No.
Yeah.
But this is kind of like the last time you see her and until the end in the game when she falls down there. And then you're following... Mike is following Jessica, trying to find her, and she's screaming and all this, and you see these weird things happening. And it leads him to a sanitarium. And that's really, that's just the weirdest thing. I can't stand movies that have like a mental hospital, and especially an old one. Man, it's just freaking me out.
I like it. I know, because it is very scary. I like it.
It's just the stuff they used to do to people, back in the day, try to shock them back into
shock therapy and
sick
stuff. It is sick. I love it.
And so I'll get anxious playing these type of games.
I know,
That's what I was telling you.
Anxiety.
Because there was a movie called House on Haunted Hill back in the day. And I went to see it in the movie theater. In the movie theater.
Mm-hmm.
And I had to like get up and go, man, it was either that or there's two of them that came out about the same time, like either The Haunted or House on Haunted Hill. And it just freaked me out so much that I got to get up and like, I was like getting lightheaded there. I was like, man, I'm like stressed out or something. I don't know. I was like, is this because this movie? So I had to get up and just like go get a snack or something.
Game too. Did the game come first or the movie?
This game didn't air. No, these are
Silent
movies.
Hill.
Yeah, Silent Hill's an old PlayStation game. But anyway, yeah, he's walking around there, and it's going to be kind of freaky there. And there's two dogs, and so the whole time you're picking up these totems that's going to tell you.
Oh yeah, I didn't understand with all the totems, but those predict what can happen.
Yeah, at this point you kind of get the stories like, okay, I'm on Indian burial ground and there's something to do with some miners, and that's kind of all you know. And it's kind of set up like a news story. It's really kind of freaky. You pick up a totem and it'll have one little clip of a clip that's probably like 2 minutes long to tell you. It's like somebody did a news report, or like a History Channel, did something like some type of report on it. And all you get is just little bits and pieces, and it'll kind of fade in, and it'll be like, oh, the miners in 1980, da-da-da-da, or whatever. And then you'll pick up horrific, da-da-da, it kind of fades out. It's kind of really weird, when that happens. And also, another thing that's happening between takes is you kind of appear in this doctor's office, and it's like a psychiatrist that's just talking to you, and it's just weird. And it's like something's, he's talking to you normal, and it's like, hey, go ahead and pick which characters you like and which one you don't, and what scares you and what doesn't. And you got to pick. And he's like, pick quickly. It'll make the experience more fun for you. And you're like, he's talking about, and then you'll go play the game, and it'll come back, and he'll say, you've been playing this game a certain way, and like he's talking to you, and it's in first person, and you're kind of like, who is this? But this time he's got a cut on his head and he's bleeding. The next time there's like a body hanging in the corner or something. It's just like starts to get really freaky, and there's jump scares in that too, that part of it.
And how does the video game, how is it different based on what you choose? Did you ever find that out? Based on what pictures you choose, or what characters you like? Yeah, I haven't read anything about.
I don't know how it would change. It's obviously meant to be played once, gone back and played again. In fact, once you're done with it, you can go back and pick certain chapters and just kind of see how that unfolds if you just want to see that.
Okay.
It's a butterfly effect. So that's so far in our game, our playthrough. Everybody was alive for now. We didn't know if Jessica was alive, but we kind of assumed she was because we didn't see her die. And in any movie, if you don't see somebody die, then they're still alive. It's just what it is. And then we get control Hayden Panettiere's character to go to run around. Her and Josh had this like kind of flirtatious scene at one point. It's just when she had to go turn the boiler on before she gets in the bath. And it's just kind of funny. You can kind of pick like to flirt with him or not flirt with him, and it kind of tells what kind of relationship they have or whatever. At one point he sticks his hand up to give you like a high five. I just remember seeing this on YouTube, and if you don't push triangle to do it, she just won't do anything, and he just like, and she just has to like play it off. It's just really pretty cool how they kind of thought of that kind of stuff. But,
yeah.
And so anyway, we don't have to go through the whole story here, but just kind of our playthrough summarized. And then you have to make another decision between, there's two saws coming down. Ashley and Chris are tied up again. They get caught. They're tied up again. The saw's coming down, and you have to make the choice. There's a gun on the table, and you got one hand free. You can shoot yourself or shoot Ashley to make the thing stop. So I didn't shoot anybody. I didn't push anything, and then it switched scenes.
Right. Sometimes the best decision is to do nothing. And she's saying, oh, shoot me. Don't shoot yourself. Shoot me. Yeah,
you've already saved me. I owe you now. It makes it difficult, to make the decision.
And I saw if you do end up shooting her, even though she's begging for it. Well, then that's when the psycho killer is revealed then. During that point. And
so I'll talk about that in a second, because I want to jump back to what's going on. There's like two scenes going on, because this is important to kind of my point I'm going to make here in a minute. But then you go to Matt and Emily, and Emily is just the quintessential B character, and you never like her.
I think she's hated by all the gamers that I've seen.
It's meant to be. It's just stereotypical. Matt's a stereotypical good guy. Anyway,
he is the one holding the camera, so that kind of in the beginning in the prank. So what kind of jerk does that really? But he's a well loved character from the gaming community that I've read. I mean, so people really like. Yeah, the internet community really likes Matt, even though that was weird to hold the camera to record that prank. But anyway, go on.
Oh, forgot about this. What? Because it's something to do with this nature. So you find this dying elk at some point, or a dying moose, and you have the choice to kill it or calm it down. try to calm it. And you go up to it and it's like throat is slashed and all this, and you happen to be Mike. And I picked calm it down. So he's like, hey, it's okay. It's okay. So that helped nature like me better. But if you don't, if you try to kill it, I mean, it's just so funny. He grabs it by the horns and just rips its head off.
Yeah.
So now nature really hates it.
Yeah, nature's mad at him.
So nature's mad because you shot that squirrel. Okay, so so now you're back with Matt and Emily, and all these elk like start walking toward them. It's like 20 elk or moose or whatever it is. I can't remember, but it walks straight to them and is going to push them off the cliff. So you have the option. Your girlfriend's freaking out, Emily. Oh, what do we do? Oh my gosh! You can say, get a hold of yourself, or you can say, hey, just stay calm. And so you just say, stay calm, and everybody stays calm, and then you can start walking out, and it'll give you this little target, and you can move your little cursor to bash one of them in the head with an axe and kill them. Well, if you do, incidentally, Matt will get pushed off the cliff and die, and if you just walk past them, they'll leave you alone. And then then it switches back to Ashley and Chris, and the killer is revealed to be Josh, and he's just this silly psycho kid who's trying to teach all the friends about you realize what my sisters went through. Now you got to experience a little taste of that, and blah blah blah. Right. I don't know what the point of his thing is.
He's trying to get revenge, and it was also revealed we didn't spend much time on the clues, but it's revealed in some of the clues along the way that he was diagnosed with a mental illness at age 11. So he's mentally ill. Yeah. So that's probably
here's even more in depth. If you look at the doctors, Dr. Hill is one of them, and that's the doctor that he keeps flashing back these scenes. Yeah. And all those scenes are happening in his head, every one of them. Mm-hmm. And they give him these drugs that are meant to treat depression. All right, severe depression. And they keep saying they failed and failed. Well, Josh's problem is not that. It's schizophrenia, because he's it always hits between 16 and 30. And that's what it's explaining his age. And that drug is something else. This guy did a whole theory on this. It's called a game theory. Yeah. This guy does these game theories. And he breaks it down that far. Like he's been treated with the wrong thing that raises some other dopamine is what you need to decrease in your brain to slow down or stop schizophrenia attacks or whatever. And so they did not treat that. They treated something else, and I can't remember the whatever is in your brain, the chemical in your brain for something else. But it is. I mean, he went down deep into that rabbit hole.
Oh, that's pretty.
It was really cool. And it's funny. So it's not a game about choice. It's a game about no choice. It's a tragic game. It's a game about mental illness, or something like that. And it's really it's supposed to be kind of funny, but serious, But he really deep dives into it, and it's a game about mental illness and no choice, because Josh had no choice. No matter what you do, you cannot save Josh in the game. Yeah. He dies, and he turns into a Wendigo or whatever it is.
Yeah, and that you haven't discussed the Wendigo thing yet, but you actually. They said there's a way to save every single character, including him, if you get all the clues. And this is jumping ahead, but Hannah, the Wendigo, instead of crushing his skull, she just carries him out. And then at the end, during the credits, you see Josh turning into a Wendigo. He's like eating flesh. He's eating a human cadaver. But you haven't discussed all that.
So here's what happens. This is what I've surmised from it and kind of got from all these YouTube videos or whatever. There's a bunch of miners in 1800 something, and they go into a mine, and they try to they keep digging and digging and digging and digging, and the Indians there saying they awoke a spirit, which is the Wendigo spirit. They awoke some spirit deep into the mountains. Okay, well, in 1952, 50-something of them get trapped, or maybe it's 20, I think it's 50-something get trapped, and they're in there for 26 days. And so they have to resort to cannibalism. Okay. And that awakens the Wendigo. That's how the Wendigos come out. All right. 12 of them survive, and they go to the sanitarium. And there's a guy that owns the mine and the sanitarium, and I can't remember his name, but he owns both of those. He takes them to the sanitarium. This is all stuff that's in the clues, and you could find out all this throughout gameplay if you want to read the clues and stuff. Reporters are denied into the sanitarium. They get their cameras broken. That's why you find these broken cameras and stuff. And it turns out that he's doing experiments on them. And I don't know if he's like actually doing experiments on them, but he's watching them being behind cages turn into Wendigos. And so that's what happens. And then his whole staff gets killed in one day. You find all this stuff, the suicide note and all this. He locks himself in his office and says, hey, death has come for me. So and he's kind of, the writing gets like more faint and kind of scribbles down the page. And so then he dies. And that's all in the, notes and stuff you find. So we know at this point, Josh was playing a joke. He's psycho. He was the guy. They're all mad at him, of course. They capture him. They try to put him in a shed and figure out how they're going to treat this guy. There's also that guy with the flamethrower that you met at the very beginning. He's throughout the game, too. He's actually a good guy trying to fight off the Wendigos, who happens to be one of the writers of the game. And if you watch his character is played by one of the writers of the game.
I think they call him the Stranger.
Oh, yeah, the Stranger. He's got flamethrowers because the Wendigos are weak to fire. And he's been watching the kids the whole time. Even the year before with Hannah and Beth, he was actually the guy that chased them. He's actually the guy that killed them because he chased them and they ran him off. He didn't mean to.
He was trying to help
He ran him off the cliff because they were scared of him. If he'd just left him alone, they would have probably gone back and none of this would have happened.
Right.
But anyway, so he turns out to be a good guy, and he teaches them the Wendigos are weak to fire. They're immune to bullets. They can't be hurt. You have to burn their skin off with fire, and then they're weak. Then you can kill them. And so we have Wendigos with his spirit stuff, and we understand that. That's the part of the game that you have to kind of just say, okay, so Indian burial ground, all this happens. The Wendigos come out if you're a cannibal, and blah, blah, blah. If you stand real still, the Wendigos can't see you either. They see movement like the T-Rex. And then you have Josh being the psycho. Where does nature come in on this thing? Why is nature attacking you? That's never really explained. I guess it's supposed to be an Indian thing. Oh, Indians always took care of nature, right, and you don't, and now nature's turning on you. But I wonder if I didn't kill the squirrel, because I think, you still have the moose and all that attack you. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So I don't know how that really plays into it. That's just kind of a little statement there for nature. Mm-hmm. Nature didn't have a voice of its own, so the video game designers decided to give nature a voice in its game to take care of it,
Right.
And so, anyway, we had Matt got killed, and I don't really know why Matt got killed. He got hung on a hook by his chin and just choked on his own blood. It's disgusting.
Very gruesome. Very
and gory. Then, and then Emily gets bit, and you get a choice to shoot her. And most people want that. It's no coincidence that it's her that you want to try to shoot or not. We let her live. We made the right choice.
Shoot her right away.
Yeah, because everybody's used to seeing Walking Dead, and if you get bit by a zombie, you're going to turn into it. It's not the case with this. Mm-hmm. So we let her live, and then we messed up with Chris. He was one of our first ones. He was the first one when you have to run from the Wendigos and you have to keep shooting them just to knock them back because you had to go turn something on with the flamethrower guy. Flamethrower guy gets killed right away. Chris is running, and I missed one of those quick time events, and he got killed. So he was our first one. So I was a little like, oh man, we're going to try to make it through, because I've heard people say that if you just kind of use common sense, you're gonna get by.
Mm-hmm. Every single person can survive.
Yeah. And that was just a slip on the QuickTime event. So now it's like, oh man, now we can't get the perfect ending here. So anyway, we keep going, and they used movie stuff again. If you kind of know movies, they used it against you here, which is really cool. And one of the scenes, they always give you a previously on Until Dawn. Once the next chapter comes, it kind of gives you some feedback or playback on what happened. It shows Jessica walking through the mines. So you hadn't heard from her in like 9 chapters, and then she's walking through the mines. She wakes up and she's walking through the mines, finds some coat, puts it on,
all beat up looking.
Yeah, all beat up. She wakes up. So okay, they're about to reintroduce Jessica here, and so you're Ashley. You're in control of Ashley, and you 3 of the girls are walking. They're only ones kind of the boys are out doing something else, and you go down in the basement to go you're just trying to get to the sanitarium to get out of here. That's all you're trying to do at this point. Everybody's trying to get through the sanitarium. There's like a tunnel that gets there because that's where the stranger lived, and they're trying to find a way to survive because he survived all that time. Something like that. Mm-hmm. Well, Samantha and Emily they walk ahead because Ashley goes, hey, we need to lock this behind us. So you lock it, and they're like, hey, just catch up. And so you're like, okay, sure. You would never do that. Mm-hmm. Anyway, they walk on, and you start to walk. And then if something happens, and say, investigate the noise or go catch up with the group. Well, in real life, you would catch up with the group. You're not going to go investigate a noise after all this has been going on by yourself. But they just introduced Jessica again, so you're thinking, this has got to be Jessica. There's no doubt about it. So you investigate the noise. And you go there, and there's like a little trap door in the bottom of some wooden planks and stuff. So it's just rotten, pushing up. And you're like, okay, she's trying to get out right there. I'm going to open it up. She's going to come out, and then we're going to all continue together. Well, you open it up, and then it's a window in there, and it just cuts your head off, dead. There's another one of our characters, Ashley. That's all we had die. Matt and Ashley and Chris. And I don't know how you saved Matt. I mean, I don't even know. I thought I did everything right with him. We didn't know he was really dead. We thought he was just hanging there, and then something it's going to be bad hurt or something. Because everybody else died. It was obvious that they died, but they all end up back at the cabin somehow. Mike sets off some natural gas off in the cabin, and because all of the Wendigos are in there, and you got to sit there and be still. As Samantha, you got a choice to run, to turn the light switch on that would ignite a broken light bulb and blow the cabin up, or run out. And I kept picking hide, because if you run, I don't know what happens. I think she blows it up early and kills everybody, but kills the Wendigos too. But anyway, they run out, and then it's over. You saved them. It's kind of a anticlimactic ending. Mm-hmm. He just shows them outside the cabin, and we watched all the credits. But I mean, like you said, if you get the perfect ending, you kind of see what happens to Josh. Josh gets killed as you're trying to escort him out. He's going completely crazy at this point, seeing his dead sisters talking to him. It's kind of real freaky. The doctor's walking around. And then he wants into a Wendigo, and he says, you're not real, you're not real. He's trying to thinks that it's just one of his hallucinations, and it like smashes his head with his hands.
Right. Yeah. It's actually his sister that turned into the Wendigo, because you see her tattoo.
Butterfly. Yeah. You see the butterflies. So it turns out, her sister, like we were talking about at first, Hannah, actually survived. So I don't know if you know this part. She survived. I know you're talking about that. You can see where she has marks the days that she's down in the cavern.
Where do you see that? Yeah, I was wondering about that. Where?
It's something when you're walking around, and you can see it on a rock somewhere.
Okay.
And I thought we found that. We didn't really think anything of it because I didn't really understand the clue. I thought at the end it was going to like let you use all the clues you've gathered and try to make some sort of this big decision at the end.
That would have been good if they did that.
Yeah, but it didn't. So the clues are just for your story, just for your entertainment. So we just kind of overpassed them there. We didn't even get. I mean, I don't know. We didn't get all the totems. So we only probably got 8 totems or something. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I thought we got all of them, but I searched around extra places.
I think they said if you do get all those, then that's when Josh survives, or you can make all the... I thought they said if you get all those totems, that will make all your characters survive or something. I don't know if that's true or not. I have no idea.
Well, it's got to be whatever your choice is, too, because Matt can die early.
That's
Matt's
true.
the first one that dies.
Oh, yeah, so that wouldn't make sense. I don't know.
So... But yeah, so we lost Josh, Ashley, Chris, and Matt. So overall, though, I mean, it was pretty interesting. We were interested in the story. You wanted to play it like every night, to see what happens next. Right.
Yeah, no, I really like. It's a good game for playing with somebody who doesn't like games. It's because it is like a movie and you make choices. And I mean, if you don't like horror movies or to be scared, then it's not for you. But I like scary stuff. I don't like the jump scares and the gore. I could do without, but
yeah, there's some excess cursing too to try to make it cool. You could tell it was like made by some older guys that are trying to relate to. I know how 18-year-olds talk. Right. It's just like, no, I don't think they're that bad. I mean, it was just like unnecessarily like that. I mean, when somebody gets scared or something, it's one thing, and even when you're just kind of messing around with your buddies, but just in casual for no reason. I mean, it's just kind of like, hey, whatever. But it's just trying to be cool and hip. But it was stereotypical, when it comes to the different characters. I thought overall it was a good experience in terms of just a video game. It's a kind of a unique thing, and you'll start seeing there's actually a few games like that. I think Heavy Rain's like that. It's not a horror one, but it's like one of those make the decision and outcomes of the game.
Right. Yeah, I tried to look up some that were similar to this decision-based game, and they mentioned Heavy Rain, and I watched a trailer, and isn't it? It has something to do with little kids in there. And so I thought it was
vampires or something.
Oh, was it? Because the trailer I watched was something to do with making a choice. The choices you make save your young son or something. And I don't like stuff like that. And another one was Detroit Becoming Human.
Yeah, that's a new one.
And that one too was something with like a little girl.
Well, they try to make the choices not, make it very difficult to pick. They wanted to make hard choices for you, not just like, hey, do you shoot the bad guy and save the person, or do you keep walking? Mm-hmm. They want to make it just difficult to choose. For one, you're going to pick something else next time. It's not necessarily a right or wrong. So you'll have a different experience. And that's exactly what Until Dawn is. I mean, it does make you want to go back and just see what happens. Of course, nowadays, you just look on YouTube or whatever and kind of see all the different outcomes. And like, if you read something on Reddit or whatever, to see all the different possible choices. But if you didn't have all that and all you had was just this game to kind of experience over and over, there's many different ways that you could do it. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It wouldn't be as scary once you know that Josh is actually just playing the joke.
Right.
And you kind of know where the jump scares are. But, it's still pretty cool. I enjoyed it, and I don't like horror games at all. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't have played it. In fact, I would have liked to say, I'm good, but you wanted to play it. And
I still think you should do Silent Hill.
Well, Silent Hill's like PlayStation 2 era.
Oh, okay. Well,
I want to do We Happy Few. So We Happy Few, for you guys that don't know, it's really kind of weird. This is the kind of stuff that I like to play for as far as like scary movie go. It's more of just kind of a psychological thriller as opposed to just a jump scare thing. From what I understand, I don't know. I've never even seen the game. Okay, I mean I've seen pictures of it, but it's about this dystopia later on where the government or whatever gives everybody this drug called joy, and joy makes you super happy. No matter what you're doing, you're always happy. Morals and everything is out the window. No matter what happens, you're happy. So if you don't take it, they're mad at you. They want to make you take it. They don't want you to go through and not take it. And so just weird stuff like that. And if they find out you don't take it, they come chase you down and try to get you to take it. At one point they're just, it looks like I remember hearing about this scene. It looks like there's kids playing pinata.
Right.
And they bust the pinata and candy comes out and all the kids are running. They're happy and you get close to it and it's like some dead mouse or animal that they got up there, just people, and they're hitting it with sticks. And every time they kind of bust open its guts fly out and they run and pick it up and eat it like candy. But they're taking joy, so they're happy with that. They don't care. There's nothing they can do that will make them not happy because that drug's just, it's just manipulated their mind so bad. But that would be interesting to me. There's also the Resident Evil 7 that's really kind of jump scares.
And then Supermassive Games, who created Until Dawn, they're coming up with the Dark Pictures anthology, Man of Medan, or Medan, Medine is the first one, and they're releasing it next year. And I looked at the trailer for that, and it didn't look as good as Until Dawn, but they're in a ship or something with... It's like the first Alien movie where you can make choices to keep your crew alive.
Space.
But except they're in a ship or a boat.
Spaceship? No,
in a boat, like in the water.
So, do you like video games now, or are you still a non-gamer?
I consider myself a non-gamer, but I like games like these that are basically movies where you pick your path with the beautiful graphics and the characters that are so lifelike in the movie scene. I mean, I really enjoyed stuff like this, so I recommend it.
So, all right, well, cool, guys. If you are watching this on YouTube, please subscribe and like. Find us on Facebook at HNKEXP. Find us on YouTube and Twitter and Instagram at HolliwoodKole, HolliwoodKole. A lot of good content coming out, so thank you guys for listening. We appreciate every single one of you. Appreciate every single like we get, every single subscribe we get. So if there's anything that you guys want to hear from me or Clear in the H&K, please let us know. We enjoy doing this, but we really want you guys to enjoy it as well. So if there's anything we can do to make that happen, we'll be happy to do it. But anyway, thanks Maiden Kane for joining.
Thank you.
Take care.
Bye-bye.